Hello, I'm Greg Gagne, your host for today. And today we have Ms. Lauren Callahan. She's the Director of Marketing and Community Impact. And she is here to discuss, or rather to inform you of information about credit. And believe me, she has a lot of knowledge, and I hope that she will share enough of it so you can get enough information to where it will impact your life. So, Ms. Lauren, nice to have you on board today.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Greg.
But tell me, start this off however you want to go with it.
Yeah, so a lot of times when you think about credit, credit is something that affects so many different portions and aspects of your life. And, you know, a lot of people think, oh, well, like I just need to worry about it if I'm going to be buying a car or a house. But credit could actually affect you being able to set up that house or apartment with utilities. Credit can be pulled sometimes when you are seeking a job and applying with an employer. And there's just a lot of places that credit touches that makes it something that we are very passionate about at the credit union, where you know, we want people to feel confident. We want people to take their credit seriously, and we also are just in the business of helping our members at Meritus Credit Union understand credit better and be prepared to use credit appropriately and smartly when they're making those financial decisions for themselves.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know in the past, credit was not so much involved with apartments or buying groceries or buying clothing. There was very little areas that where credit did not impact you. Well, nowadays, in every aspect of your life, credit plays an important part. And you have already stated some of the various ways that you get involved with credit in today.
Right. So, so just to start off at the credit union, what we do for people that may be starting out with no credit history, or if they have credit that they're seeking to improve, there's a couple different ways that we start just tackling the issue immediately, and that is to make sure that they get established with a financial relationship with, you know, our organization. So, so simply just opening that savings account, opening a checking account, immediately just like I said, starts the relationship. We also will do shared secured loans. That's one of the big things that we can do right off the bat to help somebody start building their credit.
Yeah, well, you just mentioned that. When I started off with my credit, and I was like 25, just got out of the Navy. I didn't have any credit. My wife and I got married, and we saved enough money, we scrimped enough money together to save $1,000. We put it into a savings account, and then we borrowed against the money.
Correct.
And we paid it like about 6 months, and we paid it off. We didn't spend the $1,000, but we did it twice. And once we did it twice, we had A1 credit. And after that, it was Katie barred the door. We can do anything we want.
Right.
And of course, life got in the way and started playing some crazy tricks. But that's one way of doing it, with a secure credit card.
Right, with a secured loan.
Yes.
Which, like you said, it's basically borrowing against yourself. So you have some money maybe in a savings account, and then you borrow from yourself and pay yourself back. Which sounds like a mind bender, but it really does help improve your credit, and pretty quickly too. Another way that we will sometimes advise people to start, you know, helping build their credit is, especially it might be a younger person and we're working with a family, so we're working with someone who has, you know, children that are maybe teenagers or young adults. One thing you can also do if you have decent credit yourself is you could have a credit card and then put your child on that credit card as an authorized user.
Okay.
And having them on that credit card as an authorized user helps them to start building credit.
Yes.
And you could not tell your child that they're an authorized user if you don't want to. That's kind of what I would recommend is if the more that they don't know, that's not going to hurt them.
Yes.
You could just have them as an authorized user and start building their credit. And then when they turn 18 or if they're in their young 20s, and are ready to maybe start looking for their first car or something, you're not having to start from scratch.
Right, right. Well, in essence, all you're doing is co-sponsoring the
Correct.
loan. So,
Correct.
what's another word? I just can't think of the word right now.
Cosign.
Cosign, there it is. Getting old. But anyway, the thing is this, though, is that any type of program that can help you with your credit, please take advantage of it, okay? Is there any other programs, any other systems that you can tell us about that besides the secure and the
Yeah. So a third thing that we have with the credit union, but it's not specific, I would say, to Meritus Credit Union. Lots of other financial institutions offer the same type of service, is our credit monitoring program where I say credit monitoring, but it's a way to check your credit score for free.
Okay.
So if you are a member of Meritus Credit Union, you can get on our mobile app and look at your credit score anytime you want.
Okay.
And it's cool because not only are you able just to view your score, but you can go into the My Credit Score portal and not only see your credit score, but also get tips on how to improve it.
Yes.
Kind of like a summary breakdown of what you have active at that time. If there's any changes to your credit score, you're going to be notified. And a lot of people are a little hesitant at first because they're like, oh, is that going to negatively affect my credit score if I'm checking it all the time? And it doesn't. It's a soft pull, which
Okay.
means that it's not going to affect your credit. It's just for educational and informational purposes. And you can go and check. And we see at the credit union all the time, whenever someone is cognizant of their score and they're in the app and they're doing the things that they need to do to increase their score, we almost always see it improve.
Well, I tell you what, I do know there's one type of credit people think it affects your credit, and that's for payday loans. That does not affect your credit, does it? Because a payday loan doesn't really report to the credit agency that you're paying it on time.
Correct. The
So-
sacrifice, though, for that is that with the payday lenders, the interest rate that you're
Is
going to
higher.
be paying is so much higher.
That's right.
So, so other organizations similar to ours, like at the credit union, we have an alternative to a payday loan. We call ours the Momentum Loan, and it's a product where if you need to just borrow a small amount of cash, you can do that. But we really tried to not have people get into that cycle of just constantly getting another loan to pay off the last one.
Yes.
And so the interest rate is a lot lower with ours. And
Well, if they're in a position financially, their credit's somewhat in good situation, they can also go with a credit card, a Visa, like what you guys have, Visa, which I'm a part of this. Guess what? Their loan, their percentage for me is like 7% for my Visa, and I have another Visa that wants 18%. So I keep the 18 just for emergency only, but the 7% is the one I use the most. Okay, so that's another way of doing it as far as using credit and using Meritus.
right.
Because really, 7% makes a hell of a difference.
Right. So of course, naturally, I'm the biggest advocate and fan of our products and
Yes, I know
services
you are.
here at Meritus Credit Union. So I may sound a little biased, but I'm
advantage of
also
them. I take advantage of them,
exactly.
you know?
I'm also just really in favor of just banking with credit unions in general. So even if you are not a member of Meritus Credit Union, there's other credit unions in our area that people could work with. If I could give just one piece of advice, it would be to shop around. So whenever you're in the market for a credit card or for a loan, do a little bit of research and shop around and try to find that best rate. If you come and visit us at the credit union and we don't have the best rate, one of the beautiful things about the credit union that I love is that we'll be straight up honest with you. We'll say, hey, like you shopped around and you were getting a better rate at this other, financial institution, like you should go and take that one. We're not gonna try to push our members into something just because it benefits the credit union. We're gonna advocate for the member and do what's best for them.
Well, the thing is, I do know we all get bombarded with Visa cards and credit cards on the internet. This is come shop with us. You got 5 or 6 different, but guess what? The minimum is about 18% interest. That's not good for anybody.
Right.
Okay? I just opened up an account because they told me that I would save $100. So I said, let's save $100, open up an account. The interest rate, 36% interest. That don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? It's just gonna stay there. It's not gonna be used,
Yeah.
but it's another thing that's on my credit. Now, other than that, I'm gonna pay it off. I'm gonna be finished with it.
Yeah.
I may just close it. I just have 2 credit cards, that's it. But the thing is though, you have to discipline yourself.
Right.
With credit, because you can read the cross the line, and there's no return. I mean, there's a return, but it's gonna be hard fight.
Correct, and
Yeah.
that is exactly what I was going to say, is everybody is different, and everybody has different levels of how well they're able to discipline themselves, and I know some people who, they have those credit cards that have the 35, 36% interest rate, but they also come with like the fancy points.
Yes.
And so they use those credit cards, but they know exactly what they're spending it on, and they're very disciplined and dedicated about paying it off every single month so
Yes.
that they're not carrying that balance month to month, which is expensive.
Yes, it does.
And I know other people that are not able to do that, and so they'll say like, okay, I'm just going to have the small $500 limit credit card so that I don't get into too much trouble. And they know that they need the lowest interest rate just in case they do need to carry a balance. At least it's not going to cost them as much. And so it really just, I feel like it's a conversation that you need to have ultimately with yourself to decide how much you're willing to, I wouldn't say risk, but how dedicated are you to making you know, the credit cards work in your favor versus the other option, which is they're just
there for you to use.
there for you like a
Yes.
pet that won't
Well,
go
the thing
away.
is, also something else that affects your credit. If you're using a credit card, watch how close you get to your credit limit. Because that too also affects your credit score. The closer you are to that limit, your credit score might drop down.
Correct.
So you have to be very careful about how close you come into your credit limit.
Correct. I thought when I was just learning about credit that all you had to do to have like the A+ score is to pay your bills on time, and that was it. And if you paid your bills on time, then like you would have an amazing score. But the how close you are to the limit is a factor. How many applications you go out there and apply for is a factor.
Yes.
So if you this weekend go out and apply for the JCPenney credit card and the Target credit card, and you also apply for a car loan, then your credit is going to be dinged because you've done too many applications in a short period of time.
That's right.
So all of those factors go into your score, even the length of your credit cards, which is something that a lot of people are also surprised by, is a lot of people have that Sears credit card from
Yes.
15, 20 years ago.
Yes.
And they're like, well, I don't really use it much anymore. I think I'm just going to get rid of it. And in that case, I would say maybe just hang on
Just hang
to
on to
it,
it.
because if that is your oldest source of credit, then that's 15, 20 years of credit history.
That's right.
That could go away if you were just to cancel it,
Right,
get rid
right,
of it.
right.
And that could ding your score because the length of time that you've had credit for is also a factor.
Yes.
So there's many that go into the ultimate score.
Yeah. Now, something else too about credit cards, or even credit, okay? You may have good credit today. Life throws curveballs. And those life curveballs will affect your credit too. I know about that because, like for myself, my wife and I, in my early years with her, we were living paycheck to paycheck. We got out of debt. Well, I started my business, and things were looking good. Things were rocking and rolling. Then all of a sudden, in the 80s, the whole economy crashed. I had contractors owing me lots of money, went belly up. That forced me to go bankrupt. And believe me, it's not easy dealing with cash raising 4 children during a time where you need money as much as possible. And those credit cards is very attractive,
Right.
but it's best you stay away from them and stay with the cash if you can work with it. Because for myself, at one time in my life, I was working in Atlanta and working in Lafayette back and forth. And one day in Atlanta, I was sitting down looking at my truck, 0 gas in the truck, 25 cents in my pocket. My wife was home eating macaroni and cheese. That's what they lived on. Well, we fought the battle, and we got back up on our feet. But it takes discipline, though. You just cannot spend money just because you have it.
Right.
So I know what it is. Life throws curveballs, and believe me, they will come. And the best thing you can do is to fight, weather the storm. Don't just give up. Just keep on fighting. So that's my little 2 cents.
Yeah, no, but it's great advice. I mean, and ultimately, it really just boils down to we should try as much as possible to live within our means. And credit can be a beautiful tool when you are needing to make those big purchases.
Yes, it does.
But ultimately, we advocate for living within your means and not spending more than what your take-home income is.
Yeah, well, I do know another little testimony here. During the bankruptcy area, in working with my business still, I operated on cash. Everything was cash. It wasn't credit. I had bankruptcy for 7 years, no, 10 years. Well, 10 years is a lot of time. Well, during that time, I was working just strictly with cash. My money in my bank had a savings account. I had a safety deposit box with money and cash and everything else. And I went to buy the house. My house was approved. They asked me, how you gonna pay for this? I said, I'm gonna give you cash. And they said, no, we won't accept cash. I said, you gotta be kidding. No, we will not accept cash.
Who doesn't
Why?
accept cash?
Yeah, why don't you accept cash? We don't know where it came from. It may be gotten from illegal means. So I had to leave money in my business account for 3 months to verify that I got
Right.
money, and I
Legally,
pulled it
yeah.
from the account. So I mean, really, credit and money, you have to really be disciplined in making these decisions because it will affect your life.
You do, and there's some financial advisors out there that are huge proponents of cash-only
Yes.
methods, and you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's just, I think when it comes to society now and how things work, most people will need to have credit,
Some type of credit.
some type of credit
Yeah.
history at some point in their lifetime. And if you have no credit history because you have only dealt in cash, then you will have to kind of navigate around
Right,
that.
well, most likely, as far as for credit, one asset would be a home. Well, you could pay, you could still work with cash, but you got a home, if you're paying it every month, there's some history involved.
Right.
And I suggest anybody to at least have at least 1 or 2 credit cards, and that's maximum, and just be very diligent about how you use them. But if you use it, make sure that you have the money to pay it off
Correct.
the next month. Just don't let it linger on, you know.
Right.
But is there something else you want to add to this mess? That's what it is, it's mess, really. Credit, nothing but mess.
No, I think we covered a lot. I think again, like discipline is key, and borrowing smartly is definitely something that we want to see everybody do. And if, you know, I could just plug the credit union one more time, I would just say that we are here, we exist, we are not for profit. We are an organization that is solely here just to serve our membership. And so we really just want to see our community and our members thrive financially.
Yes.
And so whatever you need, whether it's you know, learning about credit or getting that first loan, or maybe if you know somebody has some debt that they want to consolidate, we do it all. And I mean, as you mentioned, a lot of times we're able to beat rates of other financial institutions, so it really works out in the benefit of
others. Yeah.
others. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, though, sometimes you also help people get their credit straight by telling them, no, we can't do it.
Yeah.
But we'll help you if you
And
start
those are
doing this.
hard, right, those are hard conversations to have, but that's where we offer financial coaching. That's where we try to work with our members on developing a plan to get them where they want
Right.
to end up.
Right.
But yes, sometimes it is hard to say no, but it's necessary to say no while we are helping.
Yes, yes. Well, I'll tell you what, another little testimony is that when I was younger with my children going to college, college students were hit with nothing but free credit cards, $300, $400, $500. And I told my children, use them. Destroy your credit now, because you don't make any money. You're relying on me to pay your bills? No. But you want to spend it? Fine. Destroy your credit now. When you're about 30 years of age, you'll know what credit is about, and you'll be able to do it right. Well, I tell you what, this is coming to an end. I really appreciate this. Well, I hope we have made an impact in your life some kind of way, at least give you some information to think about. And I want to thank Ms. Lauren for coming and doing this interview with us today.
Of course.
And hopefully we can catch you next time around for another topic on credit. I'm sure they got more credit subjects out there. But thank you for coming on board.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Okay, catch you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.